State your name.
Camille Peterson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that
swear
I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
and the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a member in
as a member in
and for said Board of Education
and said Board of Education,
of the Southwestern City School District,
Southwestern City School District,
Franklin County, Ohio,
Franklin County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my
in
ability,
accordance
in accordance
with the laws now in effect
with the laws now in effect,
and hereafter
and hereafter
to be enacted
to be enacted
during my continuance in said office. During
during my continuance in said office
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
Right hand. I, Julie Liskini,
I, Julie Liskini,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as member in
as member in
and for
and for
said Board of Education
said Board of Education
of the Southwestern
of the Southwestern
City School District,
City School District,
Franklin County,
Franklin County,
Ohio,
Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with
and in accordance with
the laws now in effect
the laws now in effect
and hereafter
and hereafter
to be enacted
during my continuance
in said office
in said office
and until
and until
my successor is chosen
my successor is chosen
and qualified.
and qualified.
Congratulations.
I, Denise D'Angelo,
I, Denise D'Angelo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a member
as a member
in and for
in and for
said Board of Education
said Board of Education
of the Southwestern City School District,
of the Southwestern City School District,
Franklin County,
Franklin County,
Ohio,
Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance
and in accordance
with the laws
with the laws
now in effect
now in effect
and hereafter
and hereafter
to be enacted
to be enacted
during my continuance
during my continuance
in said office
in said office
and until my successor
and until my successor
is chosen and qualified.
is chosen and qualified.
Drop at the car. See y'all later.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Southwestern City School District Board of Education. The Board of Education welcomes and values your comments and the time set aside during the first regular meeting of the month for public participation. So all concerns may be heard. Please observe these rules for public participation. Only 3 people may speak on the same topic. Each speaker may take up to 5 minutes to address the board, and each speaker may not reflect adversely on individuals. If a parent or community member has a complaint about an employee, it should be referred to the employee supervisor. Those wishing to address the board on agenda items only may sign up at the podium prior to the start of the meeting. Tonight's forum to address the board concerning non-agenda items will include only those who had signed up by noon earlier today with the superintendent's office. These will take place at the end of tonight's agenda. As a reminder, public participation is an opportunity for the community to address the board in a formal setting. However, it is not designed or intended to be interactive. While we greatly appreciate individuals engaging with us, we expect the administrative and building level staff to work cooperatively with the community to address items discussed. We also request that audience members be respectful of each participant and the process. We thank you for attending tonight's Board of Education meeting and for your support of our school system.
Please stand to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. It would be nice if every board meeting had this many people in it. All right. I'd like to call the January 8th, 2024 organizational meeting of the Southwestern City School Board to order. Roll call.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Here.
Ms. Liskini.
Here.
Ms. Martindale.
Here.
Ms. Peterson.
Here.
Mr. Bosso.
Here.
Okay, the next item of action is we have a public hearing for the tax budget for fiscal year 24-25. On December 4th, 2023, a public notice was hereby given in the Columbus Dispatch. The 2 copies of the proposed budget, an estimate of cost of operation of the Southwestern City School District of the County of Franklin County, Ohio, including the cost of operating the public schools of said district for fiscal year 2024-25, were on file in the office of the Undersecretary Treasurer of the Board of Education and open to inspection of the public pursuant to the requirement of law. Any member of the audience who wishes to comment on this issue will now be recognized.
All right. First item for action is the adoption of the agenda. We need a motion to adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting.
So moved.
So moved, Ms. Martindale. Need a second.
Second.
Mrs. Peterson. Thank you. Oh, roll call.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. The first item for action on an organizational meeting is election of the president for 2024 calendar year. We'll take nominations at this time.
I would like to nominate Chris Fiscal for president.
Any other nominations? Close the motion. Oh, we did a second. We did a second on that. I'm sorry.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. This is to close the nominations. Mr. Bosso,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale, Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Roll call.
Are there any other?
Oh, any other? nominations? None seen? Thanks, guys. I'm honored. I'm truly honored. Thank you. All right. The next item under action is election of the vice president for the calendar year 2024. We'll take nominations at this time. I will nominate Kelly Martindale as vice president.
I second.
Second, Mrs. Peterson. Any other nominations? Seeing none. Closure. We'll go ahead and motion to close.
Close. Motion close.
Second.
Second.
Needing a second.
Second.
Go ahead, I'll roll call.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. The third item for action is dates and times for the regular meeting. It's recommended the Board of Education adopt the calendar of meeting dates for the calendar year of 2024. Mrs. Martindale. We need a second on that.
I'll second.
Second, Mrs. Peterson. Any additions or corrections to? Roll call.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. All right, items for action under fiscal and operational management. I will be handling this part, and then Julie Liskini will be taking over for me on fiscal and operational management. The first item for action is board services. It's recommended the Board of Education establish a board service fund for fiscal year 2024-2025. The next item for action is authorization for fiscal procedures. It's recommended the Board of Education authorize administration to carry out fiscal procedure or specific fiscal procedures for calendar year 2024. There are some items listed there if anybody wants to go over. If you have any questions, you would be happy to answer those. Item number 3 is a resolution to participate in state and federal funded programs for fiscal year 2024-2025. It's recommended the Board of Education authorize administration to apply for and accept the state and federal funded grants entitlements for fiscal year 2024-2025. Item number 4 will be the renewal of the membership with the Ohio School Board Association. It's recommended that the Board of Education renew its annual membership with the Ohio School Board Association for calendar year 2024, including subscription to the School Management News Virtual Transportation Supervisor in the amount of $9,971. Item number 5 is a resolution to participate in the Ohio School Boards Association Legal Assistant Fund. It's recommended the Board of Education pass the resolution as presented to join the Ohio School Board Association Legal Assistant Fund. Item number 6 is renewal of membership to Ohio Education Policy Institute. It's recommended the Board of Education renew this membership in the Ohio Educational Policy Institute for calendar year 2024 at the annual cost of $1,500. Item number 7, designate the treasurer as the board public record designee. It's recommended the Board of Education appoint the treasurer as public records designee for the Board of Education per 109.43 of the Ohio Revised Code as public records designee, and the treasurer shall attend public records training annually on behalf of the Board of Education. After reviewing these items, I move them for passage. Can I get a motion? Peterson. And we need a second. Mrs. Martindale, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Now I'm gonna ask for a, accept the motion to adjourn the organizational meeting to go into personnel issues. We're just adjourning this meeting and moving on. I'm sorry, everybody. All righty. All right, can I get a motion to close the organizational meeting?
So much.
So moved by Mrs. Martindale. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Peterson. Thank you.
Okay, roll call, Mrs. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. All righty. Now I'm going to move to the regular board meeting for Monday, January 8th, 2024. Can I get a roll call? Or do we have to do a roll? We gotta do a roll call. We gotta do a roll call.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Thank you. Can I get adoption to adopt the agenda for this meeting?
So moved.
So move Martindale. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Liskini.
Roll call, Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Can I get approval for a motion to approve the minutes from the December 12th, 2023 meeting?
So moved. Martin.
Move Martindale.
Second Peterson.
Second, Mrs. Peterson. Thank you. Roll call.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Would we have any board reports or anything this evening? Seeing none, I'm going to move on to public participation related to agenda items. Okay, under policy, we're gonna go ahead and take under items, we're gonna take 3 responses because they're all 4 or 5 of them are on the same subject. And by policy, until now, we're just gonna take the top 3. The first will be Simone Adston. Is that correct?
Amston.
Amston, I'm sorry.
That's
Simone.
okay. You got my first name. That's even tough too. Do I just?
You're up.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start off. I have a petition with staff members from Buckeye Woods Elementary.
Thank you.
I'm going to do my best to stay in the time frame. If I get cut off, I have copies for all of you so that I can continue my speech. I'm going to start with a roll call. Mr. Bozo. I'm just kidding. I really liked the roll call. I liked the roll call thing. It made me happy. All right. I'm gonna do my very best. I'm not generally a public speaker, but my name's Simone Amston. I'm the building substitute for Buckeye Woods Elementary. I'm here tonight to express my concern about an item on tonight's agenda regarding the termination of Principal Kaufeld. I've known and worked alongside Ms. Kaufeld for the last 8 years. During that time, I was able to watch, learn, and ultimately grow from her in both my personal and professional life. Jennifer is the epitome of how an educator should perform and conduct themselves day to day. Her drive is unstoppable and her academic standards are high. She's led our staff to become a blue ribbon school, and our academic scores are through the roof. Jennifer does not lack the skills to perform her duty at her best and does not lack moral standards or beliefs either. She shows us that every day by leading by example and spreading kindness with her actions and words. She is the reason I go to work every day and I love my job. I do believe everything happens for a reason. I believe I'm standing here before you tonight to open your eyes to a misunderstanding that was in its best effort to help and not harm. It's unfortunate that so many others before her have caused physical or emotional harm to students and were giving nothing more than a mandatory leave of absence and relocation to another building. It does not make sense to ruin someone's 25+ years in this district with a flawless track record. If you guys are all here today in support of Ms. Kaufeld, I'd like you to stand for the remainder of my speech. Jennifer's always shown my own children kindness. From the first day I met her as a parent volunteer until now as an employee for Southwestern City Schools. She does not tolerate inappropriate behavior of any kind, whether staff or student. A gesture as small as name calling would result in a phone call home. To terminate Principal Kaufeld on her first offense seems a bit targeted considering all those before her. You would not be giving a second chance to someone who's harmed a student. Rather, you'd be giving a second chance because they tried to protect a student. Perhaps protocol was not properly addressed, but let's also be human and understand that no one is perfect and we all make mistakes. Mistakes are ultimately lessons that help us learn and grow to become better the next time around. Around mid-November, I learned that my son had a substitute teacher for the last 5 or 6 weeks. It wasn't communicated to me by anyone from Southwestern City Schools, including the school itself. I found out by word of mouth. My son shared that his teacher was under investigation for physically assaulting a student. In the end, the staff member never returned to the building. A community member did some of their own digging and brought to light several letters of direction indicating multiple incidents of inappropriate and physical contact and with students over the course of many years. This staff member was allowed to be reassigned each time for years, even with a full history of foul play. I'm wondering how this case is being looked at differently from, let's say, my son's teacher, who had multiple letters of direction and has been happily moved around from school to school over the course of several years. Principal Kaufeld has been a well-respected educator for the last 25+ years with a proven track record and academic and professional achievement. Her leadership style and passion for her school are contagious, and as staff, we choose to work alongside her year after year. Jennifer instills the confidence in all of us to be our best and own our trade or craft. She has taught me so many lessons along the way, but mostly I absorb them by watching her actions and moves. Integrity is what you do when no one's looking. This is a woman of extreme integrity who would never intentionally jeopardize her career. I can tell you that there's always 3 sides or more to a story. Jenna has nothing to gain from this. When you work with someone day in and day out, you begin to understand who they really are. People work for people, not organizations or buildings, not the pay if you truly love your job. I love my job, not because of pay. I get paid very little. Not because of location, it is right by my house. But not because of what the job entails. I do all kinds of things that are not all kinds of things. But because of who I work with. You would not be in attendance tonight. We would not be all in attendance tonight if we did not stand behind Ms. Kaufeld and believe this is wrong. As staff, we have risen and pulled together, closer together to continue the work Jennifer has instilled in us. Even so, morale is low as students and staff's mental health is declining along the way. Students feed off of us as staff. I do my best to always have a smile, even on the days that are a bit challenging. Smiles haven't been something I've seen much of lately while Jennifer's been on leave. Students ask me what's wrong, and staff can see I'm distracted. We all are. Many of us are in tears daily, suffering as though we just experienced a death.
Simone, we're going to have to end it there. Sorry.
I'm going to give you the remainder of my
Thank
speech.
you. Thank you so much. All right, next on it'll be Ben Cahill.
My name is, excuse me. I can see better now. My name is Vin Cahill. I taught for 40 years, 38 years in Southwestern City Schools. My first 13 years in the district, I taught in 6 different buildings, 4 elementaries, and 2 middle schools. While coaching at the high school, working for 9 different principals. I then landed at Buckeye Woods for the last 25 years. My career in education included teaching nearly 20,000 students, working with over 500 teachers and staff, and over 3 dozen administrators. My point is, I've seen it all, and Jennifer Caulfield is the best there is. I spent my last 7 years working with and for Jennifer at Buckeye Woods. It was always a cooperative effort. She always put the needs of the students first, and she did this while working on an island. The student to administrator ratio, roughly 750 to 1, is the highest in the district, regardless of grade level, intermediate, middle school, and high school included. $750 students, 1,500 parents and step parents, 40+ teachers and staff. No assistant principal. She did it all by herself, and yet she didn't do it from the comfort of her office. She was at bus duty every day, morning and after school. I know, because I was there too. She was out and about every day. She was in your classroom several times a week, all year. Yet she still found time to lead. Buckeye Woods received countless academic awards under Jennifer's leadership, and she did this with kindness. It is our motto, our daily reminder, that one has to show 100% kindness with actions and words. If she is terminated, the injustice you would perpetrate upon Jennifer Caulfield alone is ludicrous and wrong. And the self-inflicted wound that you would cause to Buckeye Woods and Southwestern City Schools is abhorrent. Jennifer Caulfield is simply the best.
Thank you. Next up will be Mike Caulfield.
Before I get started, I would like to ask the president to consider waiving the policy. I know that the district's school board has waived the 3-person policy in the past. And I feel like with this type of crowd, that it would have been appropriate at this moment to waive the 3-person policy on the agenda.
I do appreciate that right now, but we'll look into that
Okay.
in the future. Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate our new board members and welcome back those that have previously served. And thank you for this opportunity. My wife, Jennifer Caulfield, has been an educator for 25 years. In 2011, she became the dedicated principal at Buckeye Woods Elementary. My wife has been rated accomplished 9 out of the 10 years in her evaluation. She earned a 5-year contract beginning July 2023 and continues through July 2028. These accomplishments are a result of her leadership. Together, her and her staff built Kindness City, creating a culture where students feel safe, where they're a trusted adult and have a strong sense of belonging. I stopped going to Kroger's because when I go to Kroger's, it's like I'm walking with a rock star. The boys wave and give that little head nod, and the girls run up and hug her and want to know where her high heels are. My wife has never been disciplined by any employer, nor has she ever been disciplined by the Ohio Board or the Ohio Department of Education. Because she has a 5-year contract, the board cannot terminate the contract unless you have other good and just cause. We have heard many educators whose contracts have been terminated because of serious offenses such as sexual relationships with students, molesting students, embezzlement, acts of violence, helping a student cheat on a test, drug abuse, drinking on the job, and committing felonies and other crimes. It is my understanding that you're being asked to terminate Jennifer's 5-year contract because after a teacher and a guidance counselor expressed concern about a student, Jennifer referred the matter to the school nurse who had 20 years of experience. Provided full explanation of what occurred in an 8-page memorandum given to the board on December 19, 2023. The memorandum include attachments of her evaluation. I invite you to review her evaluations and her personnel file and the absence of negative documentation in her personnel file. How many educators with 25 years experience can say that and throw a blue ribbon school on it and 9 accomplished ratings? On November 14th, Jennifer's concern for the health, safety, and welfare of a child. The course of action chosen by the experienced school nurse was not at Jennifer's direction, but she believes the experienced school nurse also had the same concern for the students' health, safety, and welfare. In each of Jennifer's roles as an educational leader, students have consistently shown above average growth and achievement. During Jennifer's tenure, students have always exceeded district and state expectations. Third grade guarantee recently here in the fall, 79% of the kids, you don't do that in other schools. These accomplishments don't happen without leaders who are dedicated to the fundamental principles of well-being and safety for their students must come first. Relationships of trust are built by a leader, staff, students, parents. November 14th was no different than any other day, with Jennifer trying to ensure the best for one of her 770 students. Jennifer has established these relationships of trust, and it is in the best interest of all that she be permitted to continue these relationships as the principal of Buckeye Woods Elementary School.
Thank you so much. We're gonna move on now. The Student and Staff Achievement Liaison, Kelly Markendale.
Thank you all for being here tonight.
Right. So we've got Central Crossing High School's NJROTC cadets. Provided multiple color guards supporting the Elks Lodge with their charitable giving night, the Lions Club annual Christmas party, including the Wreaths Across America ceremony. I also would like to say congratulations to Central Crossing High School for being named this year's winner of the White Christmas Holiday Food Drive, which benefits the Grove City Food Pantry. Central Crossing High School was in the Grove City area, high school in the area of Grove City High School in the district. Oh goodness, I can't speak. Y'all have me a little emotional right now. Central Crossing High School was the Grove City area school in the district with the highest donation amount and will be recognized later this month. So congratulations. School District Gives Back. I have two awesome things to mention. In December, the Charitable Pharmacy of Central Ohio hosted 12 Southwestern Career Academy multi-skilled health seniors as volunteers who volunteered for 24 hours and sorted the supply of donated medications and pulling the bubble packed medication boards that the local charitable pharmacy needed. The pharmacy receives donated unexpired prescription medicine, and with the donations, they can then fill prescriptions for community members in the Columbus area who fall below designated poverty levels. So, great job to the Career Academy, the multi-skilled health seniors. That's awesome. And then last month, DSC staff donated 175 blankets to students and families in need during their annual Gifts Back donation drive. These blankets specifically will go towards supporting families with transitional housing needs this winter. That wraps up my student and staff achievement report.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Martindale. We're going to move on now to items for action on fiscal and operational management with Julie. Let's move in.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 7 items for action this evening under fiscal and operational management. Number 1 is revised permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2023-2024. CX1. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the revised permanent appropriations. Number 2, investments and financial statements for December 2023, X2 and X3. It is recommended that in accordance with section 135.14 of the Ohio Revised Code, the Board of Education approve December investments, X2, and cash position report for the month of December 2023, X3 as submitted. Number 3, payment of bills, X4. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve payment of bills according to the list of checks for the month of December 2023. Number 4, donations, CX5. It is recommended that the Board of Education accept the donations of $7,496.70 as detailed in X5 and authorize letters of appreciation be sent to the donors. Number 5, authorization to pay bills in accordance with section 5705.41 of the Ohio Revised Code, X6. It is recommended that the Board of Education authorize the treasurer to pay bills for December which were not processed in accordance with section 5705.41 of the Ohio Revised Code. Number 6, approve the amended ESSER 3 plan. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the amended elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds as presented in X7. And number 7, resolution for the authorization of the purchase of competitive retail natural gas services from the lowest responsible bid through a consortium. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resolution as presented for the authorization of the purchase of competitive retail natural gas services from the lowest responsible bid through a consortium. Mr. President, after reviewing these items, I would like to move them for approval.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mrs. Martindale. Roll call.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. We'll go on back to Mrs. Martindale for items of action under student, school, and community.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, so Grove City High School Marching Band has been invited to perform at the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum in Hawaii. Great. So there'll be 220 students will be accompanied by 30 adult chaperones. Transportation, the airplane, charter bus, and accommodations will be at a 3 or 4-star level hotel. The trip expenses will be paid by students, parents, and fundraising. And then the second item for action is on October 9th, the Board of Education approved a trip request for Grove City High School and JROTC to travel to Key West, Florida for April 5th through the 7th of 2024. It is being requested that the trip location be changed to the USS Yorktown in Charleston, South Carolina, and the dates will be revised to April 4 through 6 of 2024. And having reviewed these items for action, I move them for passage.
Thank you, Mrs. Martindale. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Peterson. Roll call.
Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Next item is it's recommended the Board of Education adjourn to executive session in accordance with policy 0166 to consider dismissal, discipline, and demotion of a public employee.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second, Ms. Peterson. Roll call.
Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes.
I'm pumped in the roll call. I know it's coming.
All right, I'll take a roll call. Mr. Bosso,
Here.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Here.
Ms. Liskini,
Here.
Ms. Martindale,
Here.
Ms. Peterson.
Here.
All right, we'll go on to item for action on the certified employment with Camille Peterson. Ms. Peterson, I'm sorry.
On the board agenda for Monday are 8 personnel items involving 210 persons. This includes 2 certificated resignations, 1 administrative employment, 3 certified changes in employment, 163 certificated employments, 11 classified resignations, 9 classified changes in employment, 19 classified employments, and 1 recommendation and resolution of the board's intention to consider termination of an employee's contract. Having reviewed these items, I move for passage.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Martindale, sorry. Any discussion?
Mr. President, for an informational standpoint, before we vote, this is a 2-pronged process in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, where the employee is afforded a hearing by the entity of her choice, either the board itself or an impartial referee, to review the facts of the investigation conducted by the district and to determine whether sufficient cause exists to terminate the contract. Today's decision to take a vote on the matter would advance due process to the next step.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Anybody else? Seeing none, roll call.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
No.
On all items.
No, just, thank you, Hugh, just on the resolution for termination from the contract. So thank you. Everything else, yes. We'll go on to, public participation.
What mean? What just happened?
on,
What just happened?
That wasn't clear. What just happened?
They terminate. They continue to terminate.
You know, with the new board here, 3 new members, especially 2 that have not been privy on this subject. What is voted on right now is more of going into investigation more so they can see.
Does that mean without pay?
Yes. Any
Is there a time frame?
comment? No.
So you just went,
So
in-
when it gets reversed, then it's back pay.
At this point, I would suggest.
of course you
Of course
were.
you would.
Of course you
Yeah.
were.
You
You
are.
know, he's
answered the
doing
question.
this because it's just something that's ongoing investigation. And it's hard to discuss it right now.
We understand how hard it is. We're here to
Mine is
discuss
already
It's very
been
hard
played.
for all of us. We're gonna move on to public participation for non-agenda items.
Tell our parents.
What do we tell our students?
It's very sad that the new board members have chosen this as their first major decision.
Absolutely.
Very sad.
The district has addressed nothing of how to tell our students.
We
Or
have
the
asked
parents.
multiple times.
We have Kelly
Information.
Dillon, Kelly Dillon. Public participation.
I had prepared remarks. About freedom of speech and about how important community involvement and understanding our right to speech and our right to understand processes. I had signed up to comment on non-agenda items. And in good faith, I would want to give those comments. But given today's proceedings, if we can call it that, and given that we can have individuals vote but not understand nuances of things is confusing to me. But I also do understand that there are personnel rules and regulations, FERPA in general, and Robert's Rules of Order that dictate the means to which you are able to be quote unquote transparent. Because I do know that transparency is very important or has been important for most of you on the board. In light of that transparency, I urge you and I beg you to use your freedom of speech and your privilege as school board members to be transparent when you're not on the dais. I hope that all of you would make the proceedings more open to the letter of the law. Yes, you can speak in hypotheticals. You don't have to use names, but it is clear here that the community wants speech and we're not getting speech. So at a different public participation opportunity, I will discuss the very clear unconstitutionality of some things that are happening in nearby districts as a cautionary tale that our district not go down that route because it will be very costly in terms of rapport and morale and money. And I'll talk about that at a different time. But we're here and we're watching. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to address the Southwestern City School District Board of Education. My name is Christina Shore, and I am a school counselor at Westland High School. I have been employed in this position since August of 2001. I see many familiar faces here in the room, and those who know me understand that this is way out of my comfort zone. I would much rather read names at graduation in front of 3,000 people than stand here today. But this is something that I feel very motivated to bring up to the school board. I would like to request that the school board reevaluate our board policies on allowing animals in our school buildings. I'm not familiar with the specific policy language. However, I know this policy has prevented the permanent placement of Franklin County Sheriff Deputy Dara Metz. Deputy Metz has been at Westland for months with her canine therapy dog, who we call Deputy Mattis. She has been there on a temporary basis, and I request that this policy be looked at and potentially modified. Deputy Metz understands our community, our student population, and the specific needs unique to Westland High School. More importantly, she wants to be here. I have been in the building a long time, and I have seen multiple Franklin County sheriffs at Westland, both permanent and temporary. Having the desire to be at Westland is critical to the success of that position. Our students and community are able to decipher when someone is invested in them, and Deputy Metz is invested, in my opinion. Not being given the opportunity to be permanently placed at Westland because of her canine therapy dog doesn't seem reasonable to me. Deputy Mattis, the canine therapy dog, has undergone extensive training to be a therapy dog and engages in continued training every day. When he is in the building, he has 2 designated spaces to be when he is not working. He does not roam the building freely. Mattis can be critical to our work as a school counselor. If we have upset students or an escalating student, we can request that Deputy Metz bring in Mattis. I have personally observed the dynamics in the room change when Mattis arrives. He brings a calmness and at times a distraction so that we all get a chance to step back, take a deep breath, and then begin talking more rationally. Sometimes students will sit with Deputy Mattis on the floor and pet him, or other times he just sits at their feet as a presence. Either way, if they are comfortable having Mattis there, which I do always ask prior to bringing him in, he intuitively fits to what they need. Deputy Metz, the officer, has kept documentation of Mattis's interactions while at Westland, and Deputy Mattis, the therapy dog, has a 90% retention rate of keeping students in school versus sending them home when they're upset or escalated. Beyond the data, I view having Deputy Mattis in our building as an added bonus when Deputy Metz is here. Both can offer so much to Westland and the community, and they deserve the chance. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Amy, could you get with Christina about? I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Next up is Sandra Frederick.
I would like to relinquish my time. I spoke to the two people that got cut, and they agreed, and Mr. Abston is going to take my time. I will speak.
As long as it's not on something personnel wise.
Here we go, you ready? So I'm Mike Abston, some of you know. I grew up here. I'm a product of this place. I have 4 kids that went to Buckeye Woods. My wife teaches there. I was a sub for a while, but it was too much for a combat guy to deal with. So I've done other things. My mom was a teacher's aide. But I wanted to talk a little bit about leadership in this classroom, in this school, in this office, and on this board. So I've been honored to work for people like Les Wexner. I was a pilot for him for 10 years. Flew for Gordon Bethune with Continental Airlines for 25 years. In that process, we do a lot of things, and we have guidelines like you have guidelines. Teachers have guidelines, principals have guidelines, checklists to follow. And what happens when a leader comes in is things aren't always black and white. So not too many years ago, Denver, we had an in-flight problem with 189 passengers. So working as a crew, which is how teachers work with principals, janitors, cooks, bus drivers, people here in the staff, the board, working as a crew, we had to go outside our guidelines, the checklist. We had to violate FARs for the federal regulation. We brought that airplane down safely without incident. And then, of course, I, as a captain, had to talk to the people head of the FAA. In this case, let's say the board, okay, or the principal, or Mr. Wise. And basically, we had a face-to-face meeting. No one did it by video. No one did it by writing. We did it face-to-face. You violated these lines or you crossed this guideline. Can you please tell me why? The intent was to do a safe operation to bring people on the ground. It's the same as the bus drivers with their students, principals, teachers, people here, or the board. I had to make a decision, and I made that with an honest intent for safety. So by doing that, I'm trying to call myself a leader, but that's how leadership's developed, by using the people around you. The biggest thing about that is, if you take a leader out, Mr. Bethune for Continental and Mr. Wexner had a thing. If you had a rule book, they would take it and they threw it away. And they said, you know our guidelines, you know what we want to do. I can't have you tied down by this all the time. I've hired you, just like I hire teachers, bus drivers, cooks, janitors. I hire you to make decisions sometimes that are outside that guideline. When you make that decision, if it goes off course, then I'm going to support you. We'll talk about what happened. And if you did it for the safety of a child, if you did it for the safety of a flight, if you did it for the safety of your troops, okay, then we're going to look at that and see why you made that decision. And then fortunately, in my case, they pat you on the back and say, good job. Now let's sit back. So next time this happens, because we don't always know what's going to happen, how can we do this better? That is what a good leader does. And if you take away leadership in a school, in a classroom, with bus drivers on the board, with Mr. Wise as superintendent, when you take that away, that support, all those people below you, they don't want to make decisions. They're scared. They can't do their job. When you're elected, you have these strict guidelines and you have people talking one ear out the other, just like principals do and teachers do with the parents and bus drivers and cooks and janitors and maintenance people the whole time. And you have to go along that guideline. But as a leader, you need to support your people. You need to support everyone, especially in front of other people, and sit back and get together and then work as a team and say, we had to go out of guidelines, we had to turn left, we had to turn right. Okay, that's not what we usually do. Why did we do it? Did we do it for the safety? Did we do it for this? Then we're gonna support you. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna find out how to make this better. So actually, I'm just here to talk about leadership because I just think it's disappearing. And I don't want leadership to disappear under duress because of what it does to the troops, the people on the ground. So I appreciate you letting me talk, and I appreciate the fact that I am a product of you guys and Mr. Staten and Mr. Lester and all the people that are here before you. So I am where I am because of the help that everyone here did, because they stood behind me even when I made mistakes. Thank you.
Jenny's mom, she's still here. All right, she must have left. We'll move on to items for discussion. Board reports, anyone?
Or this is the general items for discussion. So I'm new to this, and there are some things I'm not sure how the process works. How the process works. So for getting something on the agenda, that's something I talked to you guys about. Like, I asked you to put something on the agenda. Like, I would like to talk about the dog situation at Westland, the sheriff's dog at Westland. Like, can I put that on the agenda for next time, or can I put a motion forward to add it to the agenda, or how do we add things to the agenda?
If there's an interest from the majority of the board, then we'll
Later. Okay. Thank you. Just clarifying that. A dog.
A dog.
Versus
Anyone?
that. I'm not.
We got your priority.
Yeah,
Any-
yeah.
anyone else?
We got it.
I wasn't, I know.
Oh, I'm
there's
sorry,
more.
Randy.
I know,
Sorry
this
so
isn't,
much.
I know, no decisions have been made. So I think that's what,
How can you say that? You're not paying
Well,
her anymore.
so-
You just turned.
I know, stop.
You turned
Yeah.
the whole meeting to a dog. Yeah.
Let's-
Somebody's career is on the line. And you'll talk about
All right, anyone else
Know how to
for
address our families.
board discussions?
Put us back on the agenda next month.
Seeing none,
Yeah.
I'll move motion to adjourn.
Is everyone on the board clear what they voted on?
Are you all,
Peterson,
are you all know what you voted on? Did you know you voted to destroy her career? Did you know that?
roll call.
You vote.
Experience.
They don't have enough
Peterson.
experience to know that.
So let's
But
just
they
make the
voted.
decision to
We
turn
have
it
to give them a
in.
coloring book and then they will understand.
Listening.
It's unbelievable. Cut out in the
Martell.
room.
What's up?
Yes.